Alrighty then. I do believe we are now live and streaming. Let's see. Let's pop into the video itself real quick and listen to the sounds. Live and streaming. Let's see. Let's pop. Yeah, it sounds like me and it sounds like I'm talking. Sounds like audio levels are okay too, I think. Yeah, a little bit. No, I think that's fine. Video game sound levels. I think we're good to go. But yeah, let's get on with it. It's your pal Minsk. We're playing Stories from Seoul once again. The Gun Dog. Huzzah! Thanks for joining, everybody. Whether you are popping in now live or you are in fact watching this VOD on YouTube, that's much appreciated. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Yeah. Don't have much of a preamble today, except that it's good to be back. I've been really sick for a while, and I've been also really occupied anyway for a while, so I just have not had the Monday to pop in and play this. So, but today, that changes. Today we're going to be playing this for a couple of hours, you know. I'm kind of hoping to end this game soon, so we might also just, like, if it looks like we're, like, really close to the end, we might go a little bit long to wrap it up, but we'll see. Yeah, apart from that, before we get started, in giant robot news, I mean, the big one is Super Robot Wars Y is out. So, finally, it's been a long time waiting now. That game used to be a yearly series. Now it did trade off between handheld games and then, like, console games. So it kind of swapped between those two, but, like, the handheld games were considered, you know, equals to the mobile games, you know, even if, like, they were, you know, performance, you know, capability-wise a little bit lesser, but they were considered equals. So, you know, but then when 30 came out, Super Robot Wars 30 came out in 2021, they kind of stopped doing these for a while, but now one came out 4 years later. I mean, they've had the mobile game going on between all this time, and apparently the current one's alright. Super Robot Wars DD. I've understood that it's a fine SRW. It plays like a regular one. The previous mobile game was Cross Omega, and that one was a Plants and Zombies style thing. That doesn't excite me personally. A mobile game doesn't excite me in general, I hate to say it, but at least like a proper one sounds good. Like a traditionally playing tactical RPG one is what I mean by proper. And that sounds interesting, at least, you know. But, yeah. So, I don't have anything to say about Super Robot Wars Y yet, because, as I've advertised many times, I would really like to stream that. So, I've been holding off on it for the week or two that it's been out now. And that's also why I'm here now playing this. Like, that's why I'm saying I would kind of start to want to wrap this up so that we can move on to SRW on the streams. Now, that is not meant to, like, downplay Stories from Seoul, and I feel like a bit of a shitheel for saying that, of course, because it, like, does come off a little bit like that. But that is not true. This game has been fantastic. I've loved my time with Stories from Seoul so much. This has been one of the best games this year in my books. So, like, it's been a delight, and I definitely do want to see where this still goes. But, yeah, there's this side of, like, well, now I would like to, like, wrap up and move on to other stuff. So, we'll see how we get with it today, okay? Let's kick it off. Which one's my save? This one's the newest save. Yes, sneaky MSX Metal Gear-ish music playing here. Very good. So what happened last time? We were in the middle of our jailbreak after the big mutiny that Vanessa pulled. So, yeah, we were dicking around trying to, like, figure out how to, like, clear our names, stop the mutiny, stop Vanessa. We ended up finally allying with the Chief Cathays. Like, managed to talk her around into, like, being like, come on, you gotta help us out here. So, with her help, we were able to divert the two pilots, Haru and Hansen. We were able to throw them off our scent and sneak into the medical bay where, you know, the death of the doctor had happened and everything. We were able to snoop around a little bit. I don't remember all the clues we got anymore, I'm embarrassed to admit. We definitely got some evidence from, like, the doctor's logs and stuff that, like, definitely showed that... Well, definitely was a strong word, but, like, we got fairly reasonable evidence that it had not been the captain, nor, you know... Nor Cassie who had, like, attacked, the doctor, like the doctor's own, like, recordings and, like, his data pad where we had to look up, like, medical records of these guys, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, like, we have the evidence now. We could try to make this, like, you know, happen. So we're now heading... Oh, I think we needed to find more extra information from the main computer. So that is why we are now heading towards the engine room, which is a little risky because that's where the chief diverted the two pilots, so we're gonna have to find out how this goes. Yeah. Sorry, just checking out everything's fine with the stream. Appears to be so. Yeah. So yeah, as you head towards the engineering department, you notice the terminal attached to the entrance into the armory, and how it's identical to the one that you managed to hack in the sickbay. Okay, Chief, wait. What's going on, Lieutenant? Well... Oh, immediately hit with a choice like this. I think we need weapons or don't worry about it. Oh dear. Do we pick the pacifist route or do we get some weapons? Oh, that's risky. I don't know. I've been playing it like very reasonable, cool-headed this whole time. You know, you may recall. Our protagonist, Sol Schutzhund, has been what I would describe as a rather cool as a cucumber, you know, reasonable person. I'm feeling like at this point we need to make an exception. I think having some kind of failsafe is probably a good idea in this incredibly heated situation we're in, right? Maybe... I don't know, because, you know... Because in general, I'd say that having, you know, guns around you just in case is a recipe for disaster. Like, that's what statistics show. But in this case, we absolutely do have a dangerous situation. So I think with that logic, we can spring for the weapons. I think? Oh boy. Well, wonder if I'm now screwing this up. I think I'm still playing the character here, though, so I think it's fine. The plan's to convince the rest of the crew and get them behind us before we approach Vanessa and the ensigns. But what if the ensigns don't listen to reason? Vanessa's gone this far to take control. How much further do you think she's willing to go to keep it? Ooh, looking stern, looking contemplative. Trust me, I don't want it to come to this. But if it does... I get you, Lieutenant. It makes sense. The ensign should still be in the engine room if they've got any sense, and if anyone else comes along, I can deal with them. You know what to do. Get going. Thanks, Chief. Wait, what are we doing? With the Chief's assurance that you won't be bothered by the ensigns, you get to work removing the top of the terminal's casing, exposing the mechanism within. Oh, the hacking minigame! I forgot about this. This is something we had to do last time in order to gain access into the sickbay, like, surgery area, I think it was. Yeah? Alright, that's fine. This was a fun minigame. I'm fine doing it again. So, obviously we need to do this right here. Because this, you know, has to be like this. So, we do that, but then we got a couple options here on which way to go here. Kind of feeling it around here for now. That's gonna have to go like this if that's my move. No, that's not gonna work. Alright. That's... yeah, if we trace it all the way back, this is like the only option part we have available. Everywhere else, it also... like, this is the chain link. Alright. All I can say is I'm very glad this doesn't have the actual pipe dream mechanic where the goop starts flowing in, you know? Like, kind of just an easy job here. Linking these up. Right, so thus far, okay, this is all, it's gotta happen like this, unless I'm crazy, I don't see any other options. But here we get another point where things can mix up. Oh, no, wait, no, this is easy. Wait a second, just... Alright, I was about to, like, ready to go this way, but nope. Very easy. That was very, very nicely pre-set up there at the end there. As you rotate the final node, the electricity is redirected and the door slides open. You quickly slip inside the room, followed by the chief. Ooh, okay. What are we doing here? Even though they're a bit sturdier than your average suit, they don't really offer any tactical advantage, especially not in a firefight. So probably not taking those. This locker is just electroshock weapons. And I wouldn't stand a chance going up against Hansen or Haru with one of these. I'd like to keep things non-lethal, but I don't really have that luxury. They wouldn't be intimidated by this at all, not with what they're armed with. Small arms and light weapons. Vanessa must have given the ensigns access to this locker some point after we got back from the O'Brien. Oh yeah, if you look at it, this rack... Oh no, but that looks like different gear. Never mind. I thought like they actually modeled like some missing guns here. I wish I'd noticed. Talk to the chief real quick. Let's get moving, Shetshund. I know I've got the ensign stuck in the engine room, but if one of them comes looking for me and finds this door wide open, we're gonna have trouble. Understood, Chief. I guess we're taking some small guns then. As you review the weapons inside the locker, you decide on a submachine gun like the one currently in Hansen's possession. It wasn't much, but it was the most powerful weapon in the armory, and it would put you on a level playing field at the very least. You go to open the locker, but quickly stop. Something wrong, Lieutenant? These lockers are set up to alert the bridge whenever they're opened. If I were to just take a weapon, Vanessa would be on to us for sure. Ooh, I had no idea about that. Never crossed my mind. If, like, that's been mentioned earlier in the game when you, like, look at things, I definitely have forgotten such a small detail. So I'm glad that the game, like, called that out. There's no way for me to get it out without giving us away. Makes sense. Can't mess around with the components on these systems either. They're much newer than what's in the terminals. Hang on, Shetshund. You watch as the chief steps back, looking up towards the top of the lockers. Oh boy, is she gonna climb up and pull some wires? Pacing from one end of the room to the other, she stops occasionally to look at a conduit or bundle of cables. Ah yeah, she's pulling the wires. Eventually, she heads to the left side of the series of lockers and places her hands on the top, effortlessly heaving herself up in one motion. Get ready to grab what you need, then shut the door again. Understood? You place your hand on the locker's handle, waiting for the chief to take action. Understood. With a sharp tug, the chief pulls 3 large cables out of the wall. Now, Lieutenant! You pull open the door and fumble in the darkness, eventually grabbing one of the guns and a few magazines. You place them down beside you and then slam the door shut. It's closed, Chief. Gotcha. With a huff, the chief drops back down to the floor. You look up and past her and see that the cables have been inserted back into the wall. Well, that's handy that they plugged in that nicely, huh? Just had to disrupt the circuit the room's on. Might show us a blip up on the bridge, so let's go before anyone comes to investigate. Thanks, Chief. You gather up your weapon and ammunition and leave the room. You got a submachine gun. Ooh, I'm a little iffy, like, yeah, it gives me some security, but, like, might this also escalate things? That's kind of the problem with guns, yeah? Yeah. Taking a drink here if you're wondering the weird noise here, my jingly water bottle. Gotta remember to be hydrated. Never forget. Now outside, you take a few seconds to reset the components and replace the casing on the terminal, causing the door to slide shut. You follow the chief down the remainder of the thoroughfare and arrive in the engineering department. Ooh, this is the scary part, because they're somewhere here, the ensigns. Maybe in the engine room? She pauses for a moment, looks around, and then with the same self-assuredness continues her way towards the central computer. You follow her along the series of catwalks that lead you there, keeping a constant watch towards the engine rooms in case one of the ensigns were to emerge. Fortunately, your journey is uneventful and you arrive at the door. So, what's the plan to get in, Lieutenant? Nothing complicated, Chief. Wah! Cassandra's key card. Let's go. You pull Cassie's key card out of your pocket and present it to the engineer, who takes note of the name on the card. Not bad. Where'd you get that? During the blackout. Lord never took it off me, and you slide the card through the reader on the terminal, and the door hisses open. It looks like since they've got the Lieutenant Commander locked up, they never thought to deactivate her access. Rookie error for Lord, but it works for us. Get inside, Lieutenant. You follow the Chief's instruction and duck inside the small room with her behind you. As soon as you enter the room that houses the central computer, you know that you're going to have problems. The room was small, barely larger than a small cupboard. There was just about room for one person to operate the computer, let alone... Hey, Lieutenant, move over, would ya? I've got a... As the Chief muscles her way into the room, you're immediately pushed up against the keyboard and monitor. Could really say, muscles. As she continues to force her considerable heft inside, it's all you can do to squirm your way towards one of the corners to avoid being crushed. Think they'd make these bigger, wouldn't you, Shitsund? Small, is about all you can manage as you continue to adjust yourself to try to find a position that you can actually breathe in. Right, so, how do you figure we're gonna find out who got to the doctor, Lieutenant? Well, You take a breath as the Chief shifts around. If we look up who went into sickbay immediately before me, that should give us our answer. Gotcha. Let me just... As if carefully plucking parts out of a toolkit, the Chief's typing is slow but methodical. With both hands raised over the keyboard, she scans the letters, then strikes the one she's after, beginning the whole process again for each following character. It takes a while, but eventually a window appears with a long list of names, dates, and times. 23rd of April, PC-214, 2130, we've got Lieutenant Saul Schutzhund, but before that we've got... The Chief pauses, making you shift and wriggle to get a better view of the screen. No information, sickbay, 2129. What does that even mean? How can there be no information? Hang on a second, The Chief's voice trails off as she resumes her same methodical process of hunting for the key she needs, slowly proceeding by typing with just 2 fingers. It's interesting detail is her, 2-finger. We found out last time she's got, some kind of nerve damage, so maybe that's why she can't, do, 5-finger, 10-finger typing, fast typing or something, I don't know. Actually, if we're honest, I can't type with, all 10 fingers, or 8 fingers, whatever it is. I also, I can use my ring finger to hit the shift or control or something, but I also kind of just do the typing with my index fingers. I've just, been doing it for 25 years or something, so, I'm pretty dang good at it now. I'm pretty fast at typing with such a goofy method, But yeah, I know, I could even be an even more amazing speed writer if I could learn 5-finger method, but I think they tried to do that sometime in, elementary school or, junior high, but it never stuck with me, unfortunately. As a different selection of logs, lists, and files appear on screen, you hear the Chief mutter to herself. Not that there's no info, it's a log, just with no user data. Shouldn't be possible, whether it's a keycard or biodata, Buttermuse has to authorize every crew profile. The system shouldn't allow any dummies. Chief, hey, what is it? Silently, the Chief places the tip of her finger on the screen, pointing to a set of entries. No information, sickbay, 2129. Just before I got there. You carry on working your way down the list. No information. Crew quarters 5, 2102. That's Cassie's cabin. No information. Central computer 2021. No information. Engine room 1933. No information. Mess hall 1910. No information. Hangar 1850. That was just after you and Hansen crashed that Juno right into the hangar. Now, I remember when we were doing our, security rounds right after that incident, but before the insurrection, there were weird hints that, there was somebody sneaking around on board, even in this central computer room, remember? Which, is one of the things just listed, here, Central Computer 2021. Now, did we try to go to Cassie's cabin? I can't remember. Probably did, and there probably was a bad guy there as well, but yeah, it really does sound like we got a stowaway with that ship, Bringing that machine with you. You both stand in silence as the information remains on the screen, flickering ever so slightly as its brilliant green stands out on the dark black of the screen. Come on, Lieutenant, let's get going. Without warning, the chief steps back and out of the room, grabbing you by the arm and dragging you with her. I could have still looked up stuff. Chief, hang on! You struggle against the chief's iron grip as she pulls you out of the small room and along the catwalk, which leads back towards the engineering department's exit. Chief, wait, we can't just... Despite her gloved hand encircling your entire forearm, you manage to wrestle yourself free, taking a few steps backward as she turns to grab you again. Get over here, Schutzhund. We gotta go tell Lord what's going on. I know it's bad, Chief, but we can't just... Damn right it's bad. I don't care what's going on with you and her right now. Something's gotta be done, and it's gonna be done... Chief! Think about that for a few seconds! If you go up to the bridge and tell Vanessa that she's wrong, how do you think she's going to react? And if she's made herself the captain, she can act like the damn captain and get the ship swept for intruders. Quit messing around and... Right, yeah, we're playing the psychology card here, because Vanessa, probably not the type of personality to be, accept being told she's wrong, so... Do you think Vanessa will really do that, Chief? How do you think she'll react if you tell her that you figured out there's an intruder on the ship that's responsible for everything she's blaming on me, the captain, and Cassie? Do you think she'll admit her mistake? She'll be the one up for execution as a mutineer if that happens. Best case scenario, she ignores you. Worst case, I get it, Lieutenant. If we can't go to Lord, then we can... The chief pauses, and you see the frustration continue to burn in her eyes until, after a moment, she drops her shoulders and exhales, releasing her pent-up tension. We wouldn't be able to take direct action, but then we could set up an alert if the dummy ID is detected. The risk is then we'd need to stay by the terminal feeding back to the report, so if... Unless... Chief, hey! The plan's not changed, Chief. We can't go to Vanessa, but if we go to the rest of the crew, we can convince them of what's really happened. Once we've done that, we can get her out of the way, get the captain back in command, and then deal with whatever's actually happening on the ship properly. But we need to figure out what that actually is before anything else. If we know their aim, then we'll also be in a better position to deal with what's happening. So, then we could... You breathe a sigh of relief as the chief begins to mutter to herself, her eyes darting forward and backward as she quickly gets absorbed into the specifics of how the situation could be handled. You take advantage of her distraction to pause and center yourself. You'd found out a lot about what had happened, but so much of it was just disparate information. You need to bring it all together to figure out what was really going on. You could tell by the intense look of focus on her face that the chief was already focused on planning how to handle the intruder once you've got the crew on your side. Her instinct for problem solving would be crucial in getting to the bottom of this whole thing. Chief! Huh, Lieutenant? We can start on a plan to deal with whoever's responsible once we've figured out who that is and what they're doing. But where do we start with that? How do we get this all figured out? Well, Lord's first big claim was that Quinn killed Rosarium, although I don't know why he'd be a target. It's not like he... What about that being her first big claim, Chief? Right. We need to convince everyone that Quinn didn't kill the Doctor. That's what's got everyone spooked. Definitely makes you and her look like the bad guys. If we prove she didn't do it... Right, so what do we know that proves Cassie didn't do it? Why couldn't Cassie have killed the Doctor? Gosh darn it! I do not remember. This is the bad part. I don't remember all the clues that we got last time. I really should have just kept playing last time, so this would be fresh on my mind. I think it was the condition, right? Like, she was still KO'd on the, like, medication, right? This is unlikely. I mean, okay, she's probably not strong enough, but, you know. This is unlikely as the explanation. I don't remember us finding out everything about how much she bench presses. And also, no reason. I don't think we found any motivational things. It's gotta be this one. She'd have been completely knocked out when the murder happened. I arrived minutes after when his tablet shows she was sedated. The dosage, the timing, it's all there. She couldn't possibly have killed him. She was unconscious at the time it happened. Taking a drink here again, guys, don't mind me. That'd make sense. The sedatives they used for onboard care are pretty fast-acting. If Rosarium gave them to Quinn, she'd be out like a light. We've got his logs, a timestamp too. Hell, Romney and I had to carry her to her quarters. Girl was dead to the world. Not bad, Lieutenant. I think you're onto something. Thanks, Chief. Makes sense to me. If Quinn's knocked out, there's no way she can kill anyone. Exactly. Now that we've got that figured out, we can... But... Your stomach drops. You thought for a moment that you'd dealt with Vanessa's accusations towards Cassie, but the hesitant look on the Chief's face said otherwise. What is it, Chief? Lord's not gonna let it be that easy. Quinn was sedated, sure, but those meds take a few minutes to be effective. I've been thinking about that, like, you know, like, I actually thought about, like, if it was a few minutes earlier when she was sedated, you know, that's not how, like, sedatives work. Like, they don't, like, knock you out that fast. It's not like being headshotted with the trank gun in Metal Gear Solid. Like, you do not auto-conk out, so, yeah, that's a bit of a point of contention for sure. I just didn't want to say it because I thought like that'd be overthinking it, but it's hard to tell sometimes with a game like this if you are meant to think that much or just go with it, so yeah. What are you saying, Chief? We're gonna need to stay a few steps ahead of Lord, Lieutenant. Get in her head. Think how she'll argue back then. Oh, think how she'll argue back, then deal with that. If you tell her Quinn was sedated when Rosarium died, she'll just come straight back with something like, how do you know she didn't kill him before the sedatives took effect? You're right, she would. Those drugs act quickly, though. Cassie couldn't have been awake for long. Doesn't matter. If Lord sees an opening, she'll go for it. I like that we're suddenly in Ace Attorney territory here a little bit. It's very cute. Wonder if I should stream, like, because I really enjoyed playing the first Ace Attorney back in the day. That's one of my favorite Let's Plays I've ever done. I kind of want to do its playthrough at some point of like the next installment, but never really had a good like slot for it. But I wonder if I could just stream that someday. Just like work better just streaming some Ace Attorney. I don't know. I'll think about it. So, we need to prove she didn't kill him before she fell unconscious, right? Well, she couldn't have because... Oh, this one I don't remember. The cause of death or there's no signs of struggle. It's one of the... I don't think it's this one. It's one of these two, but... I can't remember if there were signs of struggle. Or was it... I can't remember how he died anymore. That's the awkward part here. Maybe the cause of death is the explanation? Let's see what happens. There's no way she could have killed him. You're gonna need more than that, Shutsund. The cause of death. Think about it. Whatever killed him also deactivated his prosthetics and left signs of singeing along where his body met the metal. I remember something about, like, his... Yeah, like he was electrocuted or something? Now I'm starting to remember. I think I did the right choice here. That could have only been done by a source of high-power electricity. Something like an electroshock weapon. I didn't find one in there. No one mentioned finding one either. So, unless she got sedated, drew a previously hidden electroshock weapon, then managed to hide it again, it's a ridiculous scenario. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember seeing one when I arrived. You didn't find one. But what if Lord does her own investigation? Finds an electroshock weapon in there? She wouldn't. I searched that room from top to bottom. Oh, I thought she was implying that the Lord is gonna plant a gun in there, you know? Yeah, but what if she did? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Might not have even been there when you looked. But she could still find one. That's ridiculous. She'd be planting evidence. You think that rat wouldn't? Lord's not playing fair, Lieutenant, so we need this bolted down. How do we know Quinn didn't hide an electroshock weapon? Why couldn't Cassie have hidden a weapon? She can't access the armory, I think. Except, does? No, because remember, we didn't use Cassie's card to enter the armory. So Cassie's card cannot access the armory. We would not have had to do that hacking minigame if it was the case otherwise. So yeah, she can't access it. That's simple. She couldn't have had an electroshock weapon in the first place. You sound pretty confident there, Shutsund. You sure? Absolutely. She couldn't have one because she can't get into the armory. Only members of security have access to the armory, and it's the captain that grants authority to crew members to access it. If the captain never granted her access, she wouldn't be able to get in to get one. Oh, now we need to prove this, because obviously Captain Bartermuse has also been blamed. So, like, how do we know that, how do we prove that Captain Bartermuse did not give access to Cassie? Oh boy. That's a big if. Well, I can prove it easy enough. Running this through the terminal outside the armory will show that she couldn't get in. It's the same reason I didn't ask for your card just now. It wouldn't have worked. So, if she never had access, she couldn't have got her hands on one, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Even without the card, the weapons that have been taken will show on the ship's logs. If you're right, the only electroshock weapon down is taken should be yours. That's gotta be enough to prove Cassie didn't do it, right? Unless Lord is gonna say that we borrowed the weapon because we were colluding with her? Oh boy. Seems pretty airtight to me, Shutsund. Quinn would have been unconscious because of the meds, and even if she wasn't, the way Rosarium died doesn't make sense because she can't get into the armory. Gonna be hard for anyone to argue with that. Great! So, that's Quinn. What about Bartermuse, though? The captain? You're hit with the realization that you'd been so focused on proving Cassie's innocence that you'd completely forgotten that Vanessa had leveled other allegations against the captain. Oh, that's right. Lord accused her of being unavailable on purpose during the blackout, didn't she? Sorry, hold on. I'm looking really quickly. I'm gonna just really quickly check that this is still working fine. Yeah, it sounds fine. Sorry. Really awkward for that double audio there. My bad, but I had to just check really quickly that everything sounds to be all right there. You know, still no. Yeah. So all good. Now, yeah. Sorry, where were we? All right, yeah. Quinn too. Ugh. Yeah, you're right. I bet even if we convince everyone that Cassie's innocent of killing the doctor, then Lord will just focus on the sabotage. It's not like she's let the truth get in her way so far. She's a slippery one. Hey, buck up, Schutzhund. We've got the stuff with Quinn and Rosarium figured out. All we gotta do is deal with this, and we can show everyone Lord's nothing but a liar. So don't start moping now. You're right. We need to convince everyone that the Captain and Cassie didn't have anything to do with the sabotage, and that they weren't dodging their duties. But what do we know about them that we can use? What proves that Cassie and the Captain weren't responsible for sabotage? They were both unwell, I'm pretty sure. Like, we know about the Captain's alcoholism, and didn't we look up, like, dysthymia was a thing that she was dealing with? I'm gonna go with that. Their motive, we haven't found any, that's the problem. We haven't found any motives for anyone to kill the Doctor. So, it's like, I don't know, but, you know, lack of motive doesn't mean that they don't have one, which is we can't really use this angle. Also, the motive probably is that the pilot of the weird alien craft needs the food, and they happen to sneak in and attack, you know, the Doctor while getting that Nutri shake thing, Nutri mix. So that's my guess, but that's me jumping ahead a little bit here. So they were both unwell. So, Vanessa's argument is that they're both traitors through inactivity, right? That it was a choice? Basically it, yeah. But, using the Doctor's datapad, we can see that both of them were unwell at the time the blackout happened. There was no choice about it. The Doctor made note of what happened to the Captain as well as all the scans and treatments he gave Cassie. He wouldn't have done that unless he'd found cause to. That proves that there was a genuine medical need. The Doctor may have had his quirks, but I don't think the crew will believe he was incompetent or a liar. Yeah, Rosarium wouldn't have done all those scans on Quinn unless he'd found something wrong. The Captain, too. He noted a condition in a treatment plan. I think you've got it, Lieutenant. That's it, then. That's the Captain and Cassie both in the clear. It took a while, but we got there. Hell, this'd convince me. But... something bothering you? Even though we've got that figured out, it leaves us with needing to find out who is actually responsible. Oh boy, that's the tough part. Are we gonna be sneaking to the alien ship? I wonder. If we can't show who the real culprit was, then Vanessa will just worm her way out of it. Say that the Captain and Cassie are still the most likely culprits. That's a good point. So then, you got any ideas who it was? Who is the real culprit? It's Hansen! It was always him! Never mind all my attempts to, mend our, path. It was always him! No. It's someone else. I don't think it was anyone from the crew. No? If you think about it, when the blackout happened, no one was in any position to take advantage of it. We were all totally taken by surprise. It didn't seem like something that happened from within the ship either. You'd have figured out what caused it otherwise. Yeah, I reviewed the diagnostics, and although there were some fluctuations in the main grid, that was... Plus, the same thing happened to the O'Brien. I love it, just to keep talking to interrupt her techno-babble, that's cute. It wasn't just the power going off that affected the O'Brien either. Their doctor was also killed. What? Yeah, the doctor on board the O'Brien. I found her dead. Not like how Dr. Rosario died. It looked more like she was killed with physical force. But the sickbay was all smashed up. That was the same. Then we know that no one except myself had the means to kill the doctor in the way we can see he died. But even then, the entry logs for the sickbay show that the bioscanner didn't pick up anyone from the crew going in. Just this no information. And we know when they first showed up. So you're saying that whoever was on board that thing when it arrived has done all this? It's the only way it all makes sense. Maybe they tried to take out both the O'Brien and us, but we were able to get the ship back online. Now they're trying a different approach. And I thought with that much compound covering it, there'd be no way any pilot could get out. The machine didn't have any hatches, no surface details to indicate an access point, nothing on the exposed parts. You might be right, Lieutenant. No one on board has got all the skills needed to pull this off, even if they wanted to. Why'd they do it, though? That laser, or whatever the machine has, could have torn the Gundog to pieces. If it's an enemy pilot, why would they do all this? What are they getting out of this? What is the pilot's motive? Ooh, they're pirates? They're a spy? They're after Cassie. You know what? There's been weird stuff around Cassie a little bit. I want to say this just for that, you know? These are just wild guesses, you know? But this one could be true. These two could be true at the same time, a little Venn diagram. But yeah, there's been weirdness about Cassie. Don't think I've forgotten one detail I have remembered. The computer, the central computer, had a file on Cassie. Then there's also the weird coma she's been in that happened exactly when the attack happened. So I think even that's enough to go after this line of thinking. Right. This may sound crazy, Chief, but hear me out. Whoever this is, I think they're after Cassie. After Quinn, huh? I'm gonna need some explanation on that one. Well, there's a couple of things. I might be wrong, but I think it's because... Why else? I just have a feeling. The knockout thing, she has a connection. I'm really conjecturing now. I'm really worried about this, but I kind of like the idea she has a connection to them. That connection is what knocked her out. You take a deep breath in. You still weren't totally sure, but with everything you'd noticed, all the odd happenings that you'd picked up on, it felt like the only explanation. You still couldn't quite form a full picture of what was going on in your head, but you knew you were close to figuring it out. You knew that what you'd seen was important. There have been things happening that haven't made sense. On their own, they didn't seem like anything to worry about, but now that we're here, they do. When I reactivated the Gundog's computer, I could hear the same signal that came over the bridge's comms just before the whole ship shut down and Cassie collapsed. I forgot that part. Interesting. Huh. The whole thing went haywire. Everyone's crew reports were flashing up on the screen, but the only one that stayed was hers. Then the whole thing shut down. At the time I thought the computer had been damaged by the sudden loss of power, but now I have to wonder, what if the signal was coming from that machine when it was on the O'Brien? Why would it focus on Cassie's file? Then, after I'd got back from the O'Brien, while I was on patrol, I stopped by Cassie's quarters, and someone had loaded up her terminal. I forgot that part as well, but yeah, I was talking earlier how we kept bumping into weird signs of somebody sneaking on the ship. I thought there was something going on in Cassie's room. Very good, very good. I'm glad that the game pulled these back. I wonder if, like, you didn't go and do that, like, you couldn't get this prompt, maybe? Because this is, like, this required you actually checking it out, if you folks recall, you know? Damn, I'm glad I'm thorough at my job, huh? Because, like, yeah, I don't want to know what happened here if we didn't figure this one out. Back then, I figured she'd left it on, but the logs show that whoever No Information is, they'd gone into her quarters. They didn't enter anyone else's. Why her? She blacked out when she heard that signal, too. She was the only crew member who seemed to be affected by it. It's her. Things keep happening to her. After Quinn, huh? Yeah, it does sound a little bit like a paranoid raving at this point, but, like, yeah, it's fishy. I can't explain what you've seen, Lieutenant. The central computer shouldn't display any files on a fresh boot. Any previous session would have been lost when the power went off. Some of what you're saying, yeah, it does kind of look that way. Quinn's just a lieutenant commander, though. What makes you think someone would be after her? Well... This one's tough. Sorry, I'm blacking out because this is the... I have no idea what the motive is. She's important to them. She was left alive. There's just something special about her. I can't... Left alive. What was the mission that she was on before coming on the Gundog? Like, she wasn't in any peril on her previous assignments, I don't think. She's important to them as... Well, that's a given if they're trying to get her. There's just something special about her. Oh. I want to give that answer because it's just the most honest of one. I don't really know, but I'm guessing. I'm just gonna... I've been clicking all the bottom ones, I feel like, the answers. I'm just gonna do that. There's just... You know what you're trying to get at, the point that can prove your theory, the piece of understanding that will let you see it all clearly. You can feel the concepts in your head begin to crystallize into something substantial, but you're still moments away from being able to comprehend everything that was going on. There's just something special about her. I know there is. Something special that... The edges of the chief's mouth twitch, beginning to draw back into a disapproving sneer. You know you need to do better to explain what you mean if you want her to believe you. I know she's special because of... Damn it, I should have just said to left her alive. Nah, did not get perfect grade on this one. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm annoyed. How they left her alive? How they left her alive? That's right, in the sickbay. They didn't harm her. Damn, that's an obvious thing. I didn't think about that. Right. She was in the same space as the doctor, but she was alive while Rosarian was dead. Gosh. That's really obvious. Sorry, my cooked brain was working really hard to remember all these details, but that obvious, like... I was thinking left alive, like, you know, when she got knocked out, or like earlier. I did not even think about that situation. Okay, fine, thank you. Thank you, game, for showing me mercy here, but yeah. I'm gonna hate if that, like, is like, well, you didn't get that perfect, so now you don't get the good ending. Like, that one thing's gonna ruin it. I don't know, I shouldn't be too worried about the endings, you know? But, like, just, like, I really, like, I'm like, really... It's a testament to this game that I'm really, really, like, infatuated with these characters now. So I would really like all of them to, like, make it. I'd like to get the good ending. I'd like to get the, you know, Mass Effect 2, everyone survives the suicide mission ending. Spoilers for Mass Effect 2, I guess, you know. Really appreciate that, but... Yeah, but we'll just carry on, no worries. When I got there, the doctor was already dead. I didn't see anyone head down to the sickbay before I did, so they must have gone down there at least a few minutes ahead of me. They would have had plenty of time to kill her as well. But they didn't. They left her alive. You survived your encounter too, Lieutenant. Don't you think that maybe killing the doctor was an accident? That's a good point. But that's only because Hansen raised the alarm after he noticed him attack me. I was lucky that blow didn't kill me. It easily could have, and if Hansen hadn't pulled the alarm, they'd have been able to finish me off just like the doctor. So, they kill the doctor, they attack me. Why was Cassie left unharmed? They wouldn't have left her alone unless they wanted her for something, right? Yeah, it's not super convincing, but I guess we gotta go with it. The chief goes quiet as a pensive look crosses her face. Her eyes look downward before they start darting back and forth, a telltale sign that she's deep in thought. This time, though, there's none of her usual mumbling. Instead, she's completely silent, although you notice her lip twitch ever so slightly. You trusted the chief. That was why you'd gone to her to help you through this. If you couldn't convince her about what you were thinking, or at the least give her enough reason to have faith in you, there was no way you'd be able to get the rest of the crew on your side. Interesting. Is this where we like this is some kind of little check in the game? Like, did you get enough convincing evidence? Oh, I'm so scared. She seemed to think you were right about the doctor's death and the sabotage. But could you convince her that Cassie was at the heart of this? There could be a lot of reasons they didn't kill her, Schutzhund. That she was unconscious, so wasn't a witness. You really think this is what it all comes down to? Yes, I am. How can you be so sure? You don't think this is just a big coincidence or something? How's it all tied together? I don't think so, Chief. After all, it's too many coincidences. They could have destroyed the gun dog. There's no other explanation. I think this one's the strongest one, so I'm gonna say this. I don't know. It's getting really difficult, these ones now. What about the fact that the gun dog is still in one piece? That craft, whatever it is, it ripped through the O'Brien like it was nothing, and then made it all the way to the gun dog. Why didn't it just destroy the ship then and there? Hansen and I saw how powerful its beam weapon is. It sliced through the O'Brien's armor with ease. If we'd been caught by the beam in our Juno, then we'd have been vaporized in a second. Why didn't it destroy the ship when it had every chance to? Why did it go dead at the exact moment it did, when we'd fly it right into our hangar? Why is the ship still online when that thing could knock it offline with a single signal? Why did all of this happen, and why does everything keep coming back to Cassie? The chief stands silently in front of you, imposing and quiet. There was a passion and a fury in her amber eyes, something in her look that made you feel like you were being disassembled, like a machine being examined for faults. So this is a little bit of a, not a spelling error as I've been calling out, but a little writing like continuity error, like a little disconnect between the writing and the art, because I would not describe these as amber eyes. That's like, amber is like kind of orange, right? Well, I guess people don't normally have orange eyes, so, but okay, now I'm doubting myself. Do people refer to blue eyes as amber eyes? That seems weird to me. If that is the case, let me know in the comments, but I that's something new to me. Anyway. Had you gone too far in pushing your point? Was this the wrong direction to take? Had you missed something? I get it, Chief. I know it all sounds nuts, but with everything I've seen, it's really... You're onto something, Lieutenant. Chief? You think so? Gotta say, what you're putting forward, it tracks with everything that's happened. The timeline, what we've seen. With that all in mind, seems like Quinn's definitely got herself caught up in something. Of course, if that's what's going on, then they're not gonna stop now that they're so close. Probably gonna try something else. No time for messing around anymore, Schutzhund. We need to get the crew together. Screw Lord's games. Thanks, Chief. I'm glad that you heard me out. I know it's a big risk, but... Hey, don't worry about it, Lieutenant. You've done good. Now, if we... Is that... Without thinking, you sprint away from the Chief and towards the entrance into the aft thoroughfare. Hey, get back here! Despite the Chief's call, you continue towards the sound of gunfire that tears through the air. Oh no. As a security officer, you knew this was your duty, but beyond that, you had a terrible feeling. What if you'd realized everything too late? Okay, everybody. I was gonna play maybe a little bit longer to have our, midstream break, but what a cliffhanger this one is. So, everybody, let's take that bio break, 10-minute break right about now, okay? Might be the first one. If I'm feeling up to it, we'll, play for 3 hours today to see if we can beat this game, now that everything's coming together. But, right now is a really good cliffhanger moment to get up, stretch, get something to eat or drink, use the bathroom if you need, and, whatever else you need, and we will see each other in about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Okay. So, stay chill, everybody, and I'll catch you in just a moment. All right. Righto, everybody, let's get back on it. Back from the break. We're good to go. So, things certainly went from 0 to 100 here after our little Ace Attorney deliberating there, and now we got a gunfight on the ship. Let's see if we can solve the sitch. See if, I guess now we find out if us having that submachine gun is gonna improve or ruin things. You dash out of engineering and down the length of the corridor, the sound of gunfire reverberating through the long hallway. A piercing staccato is beaten out in the distance, and you drop to the floor as bullets punch through the space around you. You scramble back to your feet, bolting towards the central hub as a flurry of shots answers the volley you'd narrowly evaded. By the way, I'm constantly on the look for this thing to light up in case we need to pull out our gun. Another burst of gunfire cracks through the air just after you dive out of the thoroughfare, a clatter of bullets striking the wall behind you. More shots fly past as you scrabble along the floor, finally finding safety by pressing yourself up against the wall adjacent to the Foresight Thoroughfare's entrance. Schutzhund! What the hell are you doing here? The two ensigns crouch on either side of the entryway. Hansen looks at you in confusion as Haru leans around the corner, firing off another burst. Hold on, I'm confused. Who's shooting at who right now? Are they shooting at me? Does it matter? What's going on? What does it look like? Damn it! Okay, no, it seems like we're on the same side for now. Like, they're also like fighting somebody else. Haru quickly ducks behind a corner just as another salvo pierces the space they stood in. Hansen responds in kind before returning to cover. Who is it? Friend of Quinn's, looks like. How did these guys get past us from the engine rooms over here to have this gunfight, by the way? I'm very confused about that. What? You lean around the corner, trying to catch a glimpse of the attacker as Haru takes the opportunity to fire back. Ooh, wow, that's a cool, yeah, I was kind of expecting some kind of cool futuristic pilot suit, assuming it was a pilot from that ship. Also, looks like a human face right there, so it might not actually be an alien after all. I was kind of making a crazy guess there, but yeah. Who? Wait! Almost out of sight, slouched against the wall leading to the crew quarters corridor, is an unconscious Cassie. Cassie! Both of you, hold your fire! You might hit Cassie! We'll stop shooting when they do, Lieutenant! Ugh! As the lethal back and forth continues, the central hub fills with the stink of gunfire and hot metal. You'd been right. Someone was after Cassie, but you'd realized it too late. What would you do now? If you let this carry on, it won't be long until Cassie is caught by a stray bullet. Let's toss us another chocolate bar there. Let's join the fight. Oh, I got an achievement that says, "Say hello to my little friend!" Oh boy. But again, this might be a bad choice with Cassie on the line of fire. Boy. Why did I pick... But there's no other item I could have really used. What, throw a screwdriver at her? You know, what's the plan here? Oh boy. You draw the gun that you'd stuffed inside your jacket and flick the safety off. Making sure to aim high so as not to hit Cassie, you pivot around the corner. You see your opportunity. And you fire! You'd watched your shots impact on the attacker, running up her suit and striking her helmet. Oh boy, hold on. Is her, like, pilot suit also, like, super future Kevlar? Uh-oh. Again, Mouth is looking like a pretty good target to hit. But she remains standing, totally unfazed. You begin to squeeze the trigger again when... What? Oh, no! That's gonna need a drink. That's definitely not one I was counting on. Alright. Well done, game. With all of this excitement, like, whatever clone business this is supposed to be was something I did not anticipate at all. Oh my goodness. Cassie? But how? You pivot back around the corner just in time to avoid a slew of shots. Oh, you know what? I was about to say, well, now she's an easy shot, but... Right, I imagine it'd be a little hard to shoot someone who looks like your girlfriend. Even though, apparently, there's some kind of clone weirdness going on here, you know? What? Is that... Quinn? It can't be! Whatever! Shifting his weight, Hansen prepares to fire around the corner, unperturbed by this latest development. No! That's a funny sprite. You dive into Hansen, forcing his gun upwards, a trail of bullet holes marking the ceiling. Don't shoot! Get off me! Cruis! They're moving! As Hansen shoves you off, you watch Cassie throw Cassie over her shoulder and disappear through the hangar entrance. Hey! Stop! You spring up and sprint after the two of them, following through the open doors. You barge past the ensigns and leap down each set of stairs. As soon as the gravity begins to lessen, you vault a railing and drop down to the bottom. Stop right there! I don't think she's gonna be able to take off with this machine. Oh, is she gonna... Oh my god, we're gonna... I think it's time, you guys. Hold on, let's see how this goes. You yell as you burst into the hangar, gun drawn. I guess so, if we didn't use the gun, we wouldn't have had this revelation, right? Because we wouldn't have been able to shoot her helmet off. So I guess that was the like, you know, little story point of having the gun, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. That is fun, though. Starting to feel good about my choices again, because this is getting crazy. Stood in front of the huge mass of machine and foam, staring back at you, is Cassie. Is what looks like Cassie. Despite her appearance, there's no recognition of you in her eyes. The usual joy that permeates her entire being is absent. The thing stood in front of you is a facade, nothing more. Who are you? What do you want? You glance to her side and see Cassie, your Cassie, slumped beside the silent imitator. Cassie! You raise your gun and level it at the duplicate, but your hands are shaking too much as you stare down the sights at the face of your beloved. Yeah, this is rough. Just give her back, and I won't shoot! Ooh, there's a small heartbeat in the background. That's cool. A slight movement catches your eye, and you look past your target at the entombed craft behind her. Oh no. Really now? Could have done that this whole time? Oh, great. Fragments of foam cut through the air around you as the machine's prison is vaporized in an instant. You're thrown back by the impact of its leg on the catwalk, only saving yourself from slamming into the hangar's rear wall by grabbing onto another nearby railing. Wait! Before you can recover, they grab Cassie, slip a mask over her face, and throw her over their shoulder before retreating up the machine's leg. A mask over Cassie's face, that's weird. Within seconds, the pair disappears inside a hatch atop the craft that closes as soon as they're through. You spring forward, kicking off the wall behind you, when you feel a sudden rush all around you, drawing you forward. Oh god. You grab onto the catwalk's railing just in time. The hatch is opening. Oh no. The hangar door is opening. You brace yourself against the air whipping past you, doing your best not to get dragged along with it into space. Yeah, we don't have a spacesuit on. This is bad. Oh! Actually, I was expecting more like legs dangling over the edge, you know? This is kind of more chill than I thought. Love this, like, picture, though. A really cool, like, little intermission picture here. I love it. Schutzhund! What the hell's going on? You hear Hansen yell over the rush of oxygen and glance back to see him and Haru hanging onto the hangar's entryway. Get back here! This whole place is depressurizing! They've taken Cassie! We've got to get her out of there! You shout back, the torrent of air continuing to rush out of the hangar, snatching the words from your mouth as soon as you say them. What are you talking about? Get over here! Oh, damn, these are cool shots. Sorry, I had my mouse in the way there, you know. You feel the machine's steps reverberate around you as it stomps its way out of the hangar. Its engines ignite, and a searing blast of heat hits your back as it soars away from the gun dog. Give it up, Schutzhund! She's gone! Get back here! Cassie had been taken. Whatever that machine was, whoever its pilot was, she was with them now, hurtling away from the ship. Hansen and Haru remain clinging onto the doorway, gesturing for you to get out of there. Even if you could convince them to help Cassie, would Vanessa let them go in their armored frames? Maybe she was already ordering Dylan to fire on the craft. It's up to me. I've got to. I must. Oh my god, you guys, this is so cool! Nah, we're being the hero mode. We've been reasonable guys so far, you know? Been like, you know, like, play it cool. Try to, like, work with others. It's time to be hero mode. I must save her! I can't just let her go! She needs me! But I'll have to. I need to. Oh, this is so cool. That was a flashback, I think, to the war from the prologue. I need to save her! It's up to me! If I don't, no one else will. But, yeah, that's so cool. To save her, I'd have to save Cassie! I have to save her! She needs me! She's counting on me! This is it. I'm going to... That's so cool, the only prompt. Well, this is mega worth it. Like, I've been waiting the whole game about, like, when it's gonna happen, like, when we finally have to launch in one of the ships, or in one of the mechs. I was a little surprised it didn't come during the initial fight, but it all makes sense now. Building up to this moment, this is fantastic. This is so cool. I'm going to save Cassie! You turn and bring your right leg up over the railing. Ooh, this one's gonna be tricky. Screw this one up and... Schutzhund! Don't! Damn, he was gonna save us there, or... Yeah, it also looks like he was about to shoot us, but... Okay. No, apparently the text says he was gonna try and save us, which... I appreciate that. The ensign lunges out to grab you, but he's too late. You throw yourself into the void of the hangar and are snatched away by the vacuum. Whoop! Oh, that's so cool! You just about manage to grab onto the Juno as you fly past it, your arm nearly wrenched from its socket by the Force. Despite the pain, you hang on and pull your way towards the access panel by the cockpit, fighting against the rush of air that continues to buffet against you as you input the series of commands to open the hatch. As soon as it's open, you clamber inside and grab an emergency oxygen mask, sealing it over your face as you activate the armored frame. Ooh, that's a cool mask. Hitting the combination of switches and buttons required to start the machine, you feel a dull rumble followed by a swell in vibrations as the systems throughout the cockpit are illuminated one by one. You grip the flight sticks and squeeze, breathing deeply and slowly. You can do this. As you push down on the pedals, the Juno walks forward, and you direct it to grab a machine gun from a nearby rack of weapons before turning to face the open hangar door. By the way, one thing I really quickly thought of right here. I sure hope Dalton's alright, because he's usually in the hangar, right? Oh boy. You peer at the main monitor, trying to locate the enemy craft amongst the stars, but are distracted as a window opens on the screen to your left, and a shrill voice yells at you from the monitor's speakers. That's another awesome cut-in. Also, she didn't put on the captain's coat. I was kind of hoping she'd be that douchey, but like, no.
You, in the Juno! I haven't given anyone permission to launch! What? Lieutenant Schutzhund? What are you doing in there? You're supposed to be locked in your quarters. Get back up there, now!
Sorry, Lord. I'm going after Cassie.
You're what? You're not leaving this ship, you traitor! Get out of there and get to your quarters now! If you don't, I'll...
You press a single button on the screen, cutting off Vanessa's transmission with a sick thumbs up. Oh, or no, it's a thumb on the up, but it looked like he was giving or they were giving a thumbs up to. Alright. You couldn't care less about what she said or how she threatened you. You were done worrying. Everything you did now, you did for you, for Cassie. This is Lieutenant Saul Schutzhund. Kalike 5. Launching! Booyah! Only problem is, next problem. That thing's pretty fast. Are we catching up to it? We'll see. But I'm loving this though. This is so, and the music being this, like this, in this scene is great. You slam both flight sticks forward, just as you'd watched Hansen do during his duel against the machine, sending the Juno tearing through space towards where you'd last seen the kidnapper's craft heading. There you are. You force the controls as far forwards as they will go, demanding every last ounce of thrust available from the engines. The cockpit begins to judder around you, but you don't let up. Ooh, well done. Wait, what the heck? As the gap between your armored frame and the machine closes, it quickly comes within visual range, and you notice it remaining still, almost like it had been suspended in space. And it's summoning a portal by the looksies? Or something? Or maybe a spirit bomb? It's either a tunnel, a portal to go through, or it's a spirit bomb that it's about to blow up the Gundog with. In front of it, you see a strange shifting distortion, as though the space ahead of it had been torn open. You're not going anywhere! With a twist of the flight sticks, the Juno banks right, and you bring yourself around in a wide arc, building up speed until... Oh! That shoulder check! Give her back! Oh, we're doing a rebuild of Evangelion second movie. Like, Schutzhund's eyes are glowing red inside the cockpit right about now. This is so sick. I'm loving this so much. Your head is still ringing from the impact, and you taste blood in your mouth, but you manage to regain control of your armored frame, raising its machine gun towards the enemy. Let's go! Now! You're not able to get a shot off before the craft blasts away into space. Gritting your teeth, determined to not let it escape, you thrust the flight sticks forward again and you're forced back against the seat as the Juno hurtles after the target. You can hear the engines begin to whine, and the main monitor is full of warnings and alerts, but you keep the controls where they are, not wanting to give the enemy a moment of reprieve. Slowly, you gain on the strange craft, and as soon as you're within range, you squeeze the trigger on the right stick, holding it down to empty the gun's magazine. Each round slams into the enemy, a sustained series of impacts throwing it into a spin. There's more where that came from! You threaten, beginning the process to reload your gun. With a grim grin, you focus the targeting reticle, lining up your next volley. Wait... In an instant, the enemy turns, its snout-like protrusion already glowing brightly with the telltale bolts of energy emanating from the light within its weapon. I guess that's supposed to be more of a pensive, like, wait. It's all you can do to draw the controls back and slam your feet down on the pedals, trying to halt the Juno before it's caught in the deadly beam. Whoa! Oh! Okay, for a second I thought, like, I screwed something up, like, I was supposed to do something. But okay, it's a story thing. We lose an arm. That's fine. It's not my gun arm, nor my gun dog. Ugh! Through luck more than skill, you'd managed to prevent the blast of energy from cleaving your Juno clean in half. But now alarms filled the cockpit, and your warnings cluttered your monitors as you realize the armored frame's left arm has been sheared off. Also a bit of the propellant tank, I think. You struggle with the controls as your off-balance machine careens through space, its fine calibration is now thrown off by the loss of the limb. Interesting point that you don't really think about, but yeah, like, these things are pretty fine too, so like messing with like weight and balance like that is probably a problem. Yeah. You manage to reorientate yourself only to see the enemy's cannon pulsing with energy as it prepares another devastating shot. No! Damn it! Hell yeah. I was really hoping that this would also happen. I didn't want to say anything, but like, yeah, I was already thinking like, you know, it'd be so sick if we got the team up. Sure enough. Surprised you lasted this long, Schutzen. Oh, it's supposed to be all. Surprised you lasted this long, Schutzen. Not a bad effort for your first flight. Gonna catch hell from the chief for losing that arm, though. Hansen, what are you doing out here? Saving your dumbass. What did it look like? Why the hell did you chase this thing out of here? I told you, it's taken Cassie. You're such a sap, Lieutenant. Ugh. But you got guts. Never thought I'd see the day when you stood up for yourself. If you want to rescue Quinn, get moving. I'll keep it here. Right. Yeah, let's tag team this guy. This is awesome. He's got it grappled because the thing wasn't watching. Beautiful. As soon as Hansen disappears from your monitor, his Juno is behind the enemy, grappling it. You waste no time in following him, struggling against the controls. Your ability to maneuver is limited, but you thrust over to the craft, digging your frame's remaining hand into a gap between its armor. The actuators in the Juno's shoulders screech in protest as the enemy struggles against you, but you continue, not willing to stop now. Wow, these are really good oxygen masks. I'm not gonna complain though. This is awesome. Cassie! Saul! You pull Cassie into the Juno's cockpit, closing the hatch behind her. As you float together in the enclosed space, arms wrapped around each other, you savor the moment. If it was possible, you'd never let Cassie go again. But with a sigh, you release her, taking both her hands in yours. Cassie, are you alright? I think so. You can tell from the look in her eyes that she's still a bit dazed, but otherwise, you can't see anything that worries you. Come on. I'm taking us back to the gun dog. Not to rain on this cute scene, but the machine is still a bit of a problem, yes? You push off the cockpit ceiling and land in the pilot's seat, bringing her down with you. After the two of you are sat down, you strap yourself back in and take a firm grip of the flight sticks. Hold on tight. We'll be there in no time. You gently push forward on the controls, easing the Juno's engines back into life. Cassie wraps her arms around you, nuzzling as far into your neck as she can, given that you're both still wearing emergency masks. You breathe a sigh of relief. The gun dog grows larger on your screen as you slowly fly towards it. The enemy machine has been taken out. Cassie is back with you. Everything is alright again. There might still be things to deal with when you get back to the ship, but at least Cassie is safe beside you. You let out another deep breath, unsure whether you want to laugh or cry. Instead, you relax, loosening your grip on the twin sticks and gently resting your head on Cassie's, bringing your right hand up to slowly stroke her hair. Your armored frame continues its slow flight towards the ship. The only noise in the cockpit is the dull hum of the engine's vibrations, and both of you breathing softly.
Saul.
You sit up slightly and look down at Cassie, who's still burying her face in the crook of your neck. Eh? She spoke so softly, you weren't even sure if she actually said anything until she begins to speak again.
What's going on, Saul? I remember getting taken to my quarters. Then there was this woman. Gunshots. Now I'm here. I think she wanted to take me somewhere. I could feel what she wanted. It was going to be somewhere really far away. From you. From everyone.
You continue to gently stroke her hair, your fingers working through the strands to run gently down her neck and back.
What happened?
You're silent for a few moments, but eventually take your free arm and bring it around her shoulders, drawing her in tighter. I don't know. I don't know how to find out either. But whatever happens, I'll be here with you. I won't let anyone take you away again. I promise. You can feel a gentle pull on the fabric of your shirt as Cassie balls her hands into fists, clenching material between her fingers and palms.
I love you, Saul.
Yeah, come on! Lay it in. That's the first time you've said that to me. Cassie draws her hands back from behind you and presses her palms against your chest, her face still hidden. You stare down at her, your heart full. As you gaze down on her, she begins to squirm and fidget, once again clasping the material of your shirt in her hands as she balls them into fists. I love you too. With her pressed against you, it's easy to feel Cassie tense up for just a second before her whole body relaxes. It's so obvious that she's relieved that you can almost feel it too. After another brief stretch of silence, she sits up, looking you in the eyes, hers moist with tears.
Saul.
What the hell? Another one! Ooh, that's actually looks really funny in like grabbing the edge of the portal. Or it could just be the first one, just teleporting, I don't know. Damn it! Before you can react, this new craft, identical to the one you just tore Cassie from, is upon you. The claws at the end of its leg-like limbs clasping tightly around the Juno's torso. You fight with the controls, causing the armored frame's engines to scream as you push them to their limits, attempting to escape the machine's grip. Hansen! Dalton! Anyone! Help! With alarms blaring from the cockpit speakers and warnings filling your screens, it's almost impossible to make out what's happening. You're just about keeping you and Cassie out of the rift in front of you, but even that is straining the Juno's engines to the point where you know they can't take much more. It's kind of a weird sentence. I think that could have taken a second to pass.
Just go, Saul!
What? Cassie! I can't leave you!
It's me they want! I can feel it!
The tears of joy that had filled the corners of her eyes now run down her cheeks, having turned to sadness.
They're not gonna stop until they have me. Take a rescue buoy and eject. Let me go.
No! I'm not leaving you! More tears flow down her face as she grasps at your chest.
You have to. They won't stop. You can't win. Just let me.
I said no! You take a hold of Cassie by the shoulders, looking deeping into her eyes. You know she's right. You can't win. But you're not giving up now. I told you, no one was going to take you away from me. If they're taking you, they're taking me too. You grab Cassie with one arm and slam the flight stick forward, sending you speeding towards the shear in space. Hell yeah! I mean, this is scary, but also really, really cool. I was wondering if this would happen once that second portal opened. With a roar, you all plunge into the rift. You don't know why it wants Cassie. You don't know where it's taking her. But you know one thing. She won't be alone.
Saul! Come on, wake up, Saul! That's it! Wake up! You're alive! You're alive!
Not what I expected to wake up to.
I thought I'd lost you.
Cassie?
Oh, darling, thank God.
Welcome back to the land of the living, Lieutenant. That's a whole carton of smokes you owe me, Chris. What's... Yeah, whatever. Didn't think the Lieutenant was gonna be this tough. Guess you're full of surprises, Schutzhund. What's going on? Me and Cruz had a bet on whether you were gonna make it after we popped your cockpit hatch and found you slumped over the controls. He figured you'd used all your luck up. Not me, though, Lieutenant. I knew you wouldn't let something like that take you out. You've been showing you've got serious guts recently.
That's obviously not what they are asking about.
As Cassie and the ensign squabble, you try to marshal your thoughts and memories. Everything feels disconnected, jumbled. Simply thinking feels like trying to find something in a dark room with no gravity. I remember going out to save you. There was this rip in space or something. I went into it and...
You saved me! That's what happened!
You sit up and place your face in your hands, massaging your temples with your thumbs to try and get rid of the feeling that your thoughts might fall out at any moment. Yeah, I'm feeling creeped out. I don't like this. It feels great, but there's no explanation. What? Hey, I think you mean that I saved you. You're welcome, by the way. I saw you charge headfirst into one of those weird glowing things. Didn't know what was gonna be in there, but knew you wouldn't survive if I left you to it. So, like a good crewman, I went in after you and dragged you and Quinn back out. Brought you here. Okay? I'm still a little iffy, but okay. He managed to get inside the portal, grab us, and get out before the portal closed? You do the same for me, right? You reach out and grab the nearby railing, pulling yourself up to your feet. As you do, the sensation of your head being flooded with thoughts and memories intensifies. You steady yourself, but keeping your focus feels like trying to carry a glass full of water that's been filled to the brim without spilling any. Wasn't this...
Take it slow, honey. Don't rush.
You sure you're ready to be up and about, Lieutenant? Yeah, I'm fine. You push away from where you were stood, but trip, falling unceremoniously to the catwalk and slamming your forearms and knees on the walkway. Not to mention our pompadour.
Saul, are you okay?
Alright, only so much of this I can watch. Come on, Quinn. I'll grab Schutzhund. Let's get him up to the mess hall. Maybe a coffee will sort them out.
Right, thanks.
Hansen comes over to you and brings your arm up over his shoulders, hoisting you up without much delicacy. As you head towards the hangar's exit, Cassie follows close behind you, her hand resting tenderly on the small of your back. Once you're near the stairs, you move away from Hansen and begin to make your way up towards the Forsyth thoroughfare, each step becoming easier as you will yourself to walk unsupported. Cassie, What's happening on the ship? With Lord and... Hey, Saul, let's talk and more walking. We'll fill you in later. Oh, by the way, I was thinking this, like, we had that big, long, deliberate discussion with Chief Cathays explaining everything. I was wondering, like, are we gonna have to talk through all of that a second time to explain the situation to the crew? Like, what's the plan? I was wondering if we'd, like, get, like, some kind of, like, cut, but I think, like a Fade to Black and Fade Black In would have been, on its own, would have been, like, a little anticlimactic. But once this came up, once this whole action sequence came up, was like, okay, get this sequence and then have like a blackout that where like everything's explained like in the interim, like after all this action, that works way better. So good job on that front, developers. I really like that. Only problem is there still would have been something fun to like be there and like lay down all the like things to the crew to like win them over, to have that Ace Attorney moment. But I can dig this as well. It's fine.
Don't worry about that right now, honey.
You look around the Foresight thoroughfare and see everything looking shockingly normal. You didn't know what you were expecting to be out of the ordinary, but seeing the thoroughfare as it had always been, its same liminal peacefulness soundtracked by the gentle hum of the ship's systems, made you feel reassured. Maybe it wouldn't be so hard for things to go back to how they were. Yeah, it's a big no from me, though. Too much like, what the heck? It takes you longer than usual, but Cassie follows patiently behind you until you reach the mess hall. Alright, take a seat, you two. I'll grab some coffee. You sit down, still woozy, as Hansen orders 2 coffees from the vendmate. Cassie sits beside you, gently rubbing your back as you try to get your head to stop spinning. There you go. Oh, by the way, you know what we could do with one last thing? Even though I got an achievement for having done it every time, but, like, what if there was one more secret? We'll see. Take it easy and drink up. I'm sure Captain Bottomuse has a lot of questions for you. Captain Bottomuse? But what about... Ah, there you are, Lieutenant Commander Quinn, Lieutenant Schutzhund. Back with the coat, everything looking good. Ma'am!
Ma'am!
At ease, you two. But, Captain, what are you doing here? What about the ensigns? What about Lord? I like the little flash there, them looking all goofy there. Lord? Ah, yes. Lieutenant Lord's little dalliance with command. Thanks to Chief Cathays, that's been dealt with. The Chief? This is what I'm talking about? Like, Chief Cathays did the whole explaining off-screen after we explained everything to her, I guess? I hope. Not to mention, the ensigns can explain that whole part with the clone of Cassie that we were having a gunfight with, you know? Okay, that's cool. Something I can help you with, Lieutenant? Captain Bartermuse said that you'd dealt with Lieutenant Lord?
I resent being made to sound like an issue on the daily maintenance log, thank you very much.
Wait, hold on, everybody's here? So, Dalton and, oh god, Dylan? Yeah, Dylan's gonna walk in here in a minute as well? Really? Okay, taking a drink, by the way. Haven't remembered to hydrate too much right now, but now's a good time. I'm surprised they're just letting Vanessa hang out here like this after her power play. Did she just super, like, Speechcraft 100 herself, being like,
well, I was only doing procedure because everything pointed to the captain being a traitor, so, you know, I was only doing my duty, damn it.
Maybe, I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Lord! You spring to your feet, your head snapping back between the 2 ensigns, trying to see who'd make a move first. What are you?
Honestly, Lieutenant, don't make this so awkward. I'm here to...
Oh my god, this is so funny. Come on now, Lieutenant. Let's hear you say it.
apologize. It seems that based on what happened in the Forsyth Thoroughfare, your actions out in space, what I was told by the crew, I made a mistake. So I thought I'd apologize. Sorry, Captain, Lieutenant Quinn, everyone.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't even realize anything was going on.
This is the real Cassie. Never mind. All my doubts are gone. No, okay. No infiltrator could be that ditzy.
I've been so zonked on painkillers, I've slept through almost everything.
I love Zonk being used here. That's great.
What has been going on?
Well done, Lieutenant Lord. That was very big of you. So then, I'm sure we can all agree to put this matter behind us. Put this behind us? The sensation of being lost in a shoal of your own thoughts returns, and you can barely grasp the situation. Wow, we're really gonna walk away just like... A thing happened on the ship, but we sorted it out. No reason, you know. Regarding the mutiny. I imagine the whole robot and the clone and everything is gonna have to be investigated, but Lord's mutiny we're just gonna shake hands on and walk our separate ways? Okay, I guess so. Why not? Don't need to cause any more drama, I think. Was that it? After everything that happened? Vanessa apologizes? The captain agrees to move on? Really? Are you alright, Lieutenant Schutzhund? You're not looking very well. Captain, just what is going on? This is all so... I think you should calm down, Lieutenant. Whatever happened to you out in space seems to still be having something of an effect. You could probably do with eating something. Now, wait, who said that? Oh, it was the... Yeah, yeah. Now there's an idea. Why don't we all sit down for a meal together, as a crew? Chief Cathays, gather everyone up, would you? I'm on it, ma'am. Alright then, who's first? A loud noise, like the combination of a growl and a gurgle, fills the room, causing everyone to look towards Cassie. Oh boy.
Well, it has been a while since I ate anything. Any chance of a burger?
Of course, Commander. Followed up by your favorite, a pineapple salad. Unless I'm mistaken.
Oh, wow! I didn't know you knew. That's perfect, Captain. Thanks.
You never thought you'd see the captain happily begin ordering meals for the crew from the Venmate, but she does just that, listening to Cassie's instructions on her burger preferences. That's cool, the captain just being chill here, and that's really nice. You slowly slide back into your chair, cautiously eyeing the two ensigns and Vanessa. There's no way she wasn't planning something. This had to all be... Hey, Lieutenant. Good to see you. Oh, Dylan. Hey. Pretty crazy watching you go toe-to-toe with that thing out there. Fought almost as well as Hansen. No way! I mean, not bad for an amateur, but the Lieutenant's got nothing on me.
Lieutenant Schutzhund! Commander Quinn! You're safe! I was worried about you guys. Oh, that thing looked tough.
Aw, thanks, Cadet. But you had nothing to worry about. My hero, Saul, was there to save me.
There we are, Commander.
Thanks, Captain.
With the noise of the entire crew's chatter filling the mess hall, you find it hard to think. Your thoughts remain difficult to line up, instead flowing like mercury. Are we not going to get everybody's order? I'd love to know what everybody wants. As you watch Cassie raise the burger to her mouth, a memory does bubble to the surface. Wait, Cassie, you can't...
Huh? What do you mean?
Your, stomach, remember? The doctor said... Oh no, wait a second. Oh god. Could this Am I overreacting? Let's see. There's nothing to worry about, Lieutenant Schutzhund. I made a mistake in my diagnosis. The synthetic food was not the issue. What? Wait, no, hold on. What? This is not possible. Something's messed up. Dr. Rosarian, thank you for joining us. I'm... Doctor! You once again bolt out of your seat in shock. This is... What the hell? Is there a problem, Lieutenant? You were dead! I saw you! We saw you! You can't be here! Ah, I understand. No one else on this ship is a qualified physician, Lieutenant. Therefore, no one was qualified to assess if I was really deceased. What? I'm so freaking out, you guys, because I don't know. Is this all in our head, some weird dream, or did things work? This is so uncomfortable. I don't like this. Fortunately, the injury was not as severe as had been assumed. But Hey, come on, Lieutenant. You're killing the mood. Doc's fine. Wouldn't be up and walking about if he wasn't, right? Yeah, take it easy, Schutzhund.
Are you feeling okay, honey? Do you want to go to the sick bay for a lie down?
Yeah, honey. Do you want to have a little nap?
Be quiet, Ensign Cruis.
Your mind is a maelstrom at this point. Everything feels wrong. Yeah, wow. I'm really, really uncomfortable now. But it's all happening. It's all right in front of you. How can you argue with that?
Come on, honey. Have some fries.
You shake your head at the offer, placing your head back in your hands. Cassie starts rubbing your back again, although quickly begins eating her fries with her spare hand. The crew eventually start to chatter amongst themselves again, whilst Captain Maris takes orders and retrieves meals from the Venmate, serving them with a level of cheerfulness that continues to leave you disquieted. Man, I really wanted to know what everybody orders. Oh well. There, I believe that's everyone. Oh, before I get started with my meal, Commander, I was hoping you could help me out with one thing.
Oh, sure, Captain. What's up?
The ship's emergency input codes. Are they generated and adjusted regularly? Or is it specifically prior to departure? Why would she ask that?
Come on, Captain, you know that. You're the one that sets them, after all.
Something's happening with the music. Okay. I think my earlier guess was correct. This is our Cassie. Starting to wonder if everybody else is not the same, especially with the Doctor back.
Well, it's initially prior to departure, then every 5 days, or per enemy encounter. Whichever comes first.
Of course. Thank you, Commander.
No problem. Since the Captain asked, Quinn. Oh, yes, Vanessa? At what distance do we typically start transmitting our security clearance prior to announcing we intend to dock at a colony?
Ooh, this is sounding really bad now. What are these questions?
Oh, that's, specific. I mean...
And once we've been cleared for approach, is our docking confirmation signature specific to the ship, or does it depend on a combination of factors? Okay, this is becoming a little too obvious now, you know?
Hey, you're just a cadet. I don't think you need to know that.
What's the makeup of the Europa Garrison Force?
Guys, I'd really like to finish my burger now, if you don't mind.
What's the target time for a Colony Defense Forces mobilization? These are getting really uncomfortable, these questions.
Well...
You look up to see the whole crew staring at Cassandra, a look of malevolent intent in their eyes.
Does the JUCF implement a series of local data stores, or is it transmitted across a large-scale network?
Guys...
What frequency is our emergency request transmitted on?
What are you asking this for?
Guys!
How ooh, that's uncomfortable. How extensive are the JCF's nuclear capabilities?
Leave her alone!
Guys!
Uh-oh.
Another failure? Which incompetent calibrated this engram harvester? It's not subtle enough.
Yeah, it certainly started to lose it there at the end.
We've been having difficulty with ensuring that the harvesting process is suitably... I don't care what you're having difficulty with. Rewrite the program to be more congruent with the query context, then run it again! Understood. We've had enough time to develop this. These failure rates are inexcusable. We've got these gather clones neural pathways mapped out. This should be simple. It's bad enough that Unit Zero's jump drive malfunctioned. Are you telling me we can't even get the information out of a gather reliably?
Ooh, Unit Zero. Another Evangelion reference there a little bit, maybe?
Well, she'll keep for the time being. At least we'll have time to finesse the systems before we start receiving more.
What about the other one?
The other what?
The other sample. The one the hunter captured alongside this gather.
Oh, then.
Aw, nice of them to remember the pronouns as well. That's very good.
I'd hope that having them in the simulations with the gather might help, since they seem to have some sort of relationship. Unfortunately, since their DNA isn't compatible with Mother AI, we can't run a specific engram harvester. Shouldn't we be able to run a linear review in real time? If you want to waste your time, be my guest.
Hopefully going through recent events again from their perspective could uncover some more information.
You're certainly welcome to try. If you do find anything pertinent, notify me immediately. Understood. Oh, one more thing. Do we have the output of the engram harvest we carried out on the additional subject?
Confirmed. It's been archived.
Under which digital lobe?
It's in the default mode network.
Node?
104.381.125. Just gonna write that down. I don't know if that's gonna have any bearing to anything, but 104.381.125. No clue what this is, but yeah. Aha. Interesting. To reclaim what is the right of the people in their name and her honor, we do what we... So, if I'm reading this correctly, I'm thinking this is a chart for, like, endings in the game. Or, like, this is a chart for choices in the game. I have no idea what this one is, because there's 4 different choices to go with. One of these is probably that we picked the chief instead of Dalton. I don't know what all... Because I don't remember a lot of, like, different... Like, where we could have done a different choice. Oh, one of them is maybe we like, went along with... we, like, didn't, like, get ourselves locked up. Like, we went along with Lord's mutiny or something. Anyway, it looks like this game has 3 endings. And we got, like... we got the special path, but then we got a really sad ending. I'm curious about this one now. Also, this one, I guess I'm a little bit curious. I wonder if this is just like a bad ending, given that there's no branches here. Maybe. I don't know. But this one, you know, wondering if this one could have been a little bit better. I don't know. But amazing how I managed to get this, like, top row here this whole way. That's kind of funny. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, my bad. This one goes on for a while. Oh, wow. So, yikes. Okay. Oh, let's see. To reclaim what is the right of the people in their name and her honor, we do what we must. All glory goes to Mother AI. Ooh, that's creepy. Mental drift between subject and source. Tactical data removal subject. Biological interstice 1C. XS1. XS... Compatibility, identify genetic inconsistencies, cerebral batch rate 99.71%. Okay, so lots of choices there. I wonder what that is. Like, that's a whole different, like, yeah. I wonder if that is the Lieutenant Lord's mutiny. Like, that's the, like, locked up path because there's so little to do there. And then this is the, do you go with Dalton or Cathays? And then this... I don't know, but then, like, this path would have had so much stuff going on, some extra stuff in it. That's fascinating. Okay. There's a lot of choice. Wow. Again, I'm assuming this is the, like, path you took in the game. In which case, wow, this branching here. This is crazy. Alright, there's 2 endings in this game. We got one of them. There was no special paths. What the other ending is, like, was this the bad ending, or, like, was this, like, or could there have been something even worse that happens to us, you know? I have no idea, but that's interesting. Wow. Oh, I think I hit that X, actually, yeah. Didn't notice that X until now. Like, now that I realize this, like, little melee out here, I was clicking all over the place, but okay. Okay, I was like, well, now what happens? Okay. I was like, oh my god, is this really the ending? Like, no credits roll, nothing like, no, like, the end, thanks for playing. Like, I was really scared for a second.
Excellent. Send me that reference. It might be useful for review later. Now, run this one again. Once you've started her engram harvest, you can do the same with the others. Understood.
That was uncomfortable, that ending. Knowledge is power. See what happens to Cassandra. Oh, so the other ending, I'm guessing, is like we don't... Like we don't go along with her somehow? Like we don't see it through the end, maybe? But yeah, we ended up being there and seeing the nightmare with all the Cassie clones. Like, they're all just, yeah... biological infiltration units, basically. That's uncomfortable. Alright, well, we're obviously not going to be having a next time. We're going a little bit long, however long this takes, although I feel like we're now epiloguing, so we're probably pretty good here, but let's see. May 6th, Planetary Calendar 214. Europa Colony 01. Jovian Colony Fleet 2nd Military Court. Right! Wasn't there, like, a scene at some point where, like, this looks familiar. Wasn't there a scene where Bartermuse was here? Or am I misremembering? I don't friggin' know.
Now that we're all here, we can begin. As was decided yesterday, this is to be the final day of the inquiry into the events that happened on board JFS Gundog between April 24th and April 28th. Our findings today will dictate the JCF's future actions around the matter, as well as what is to be done with the ship's crew. Guards, please bring Ms. Maris Bartermuse to the stand. Welcome back, Miss Bartermuse.
It's my pleasure, Admiral. Now, Miss Bartermuse, you've gone over everything that happened on board the Gundog following its departure from this colony on April 19th up until the 24th. The last task of this inquiry is to find out what happened following Miss Lord's adjustment to the command structure up until your return to Europa 1. I trust we'll have your full cooperation in this matter. Hasn't that already been demonstrated?
A yes or a no, Ms. Bartermuse?
Yes, Commodore. Thank you. So, we understand that the main effort to counter Miss Lord's mutiny was made by Chief Engineer Cathays and Lieutenant Schutzhund. Is that right? That's the long and short of it. What? She's here too? Okay. You said that the two of you had found enough information to prove that none of the accused had anything to do with any treasonous actions. What happened after that? Well, we'd finally got as much of it figured out as we could. We were gonna take it to the rest of the crew, get them on side, and go confront Lord. Before we could go anywhere, though, we heard gunshots. Lieutenant Schutzhund went running off to see what was happening. I couldn't get close because of the bullets flying everywhere. Things calmed down for a second, and I saw the lieutenant and the ensigns running into the hangar, after whoever had been shooting things up. From your position, could you tell why this attacker wasn't apprehended by security?
It's like I told you already. Quinn's weird twin was packing some serious firepower.
Okay, this is kind of like this is like a montage. It's like everybody who's been brought to the stand, yeah.
Romney and I were pinned down. We could barely get a shot in. And I know I got some shots in. My aim's good. But whatever body armor she was wearing, it's like she didn't even notice.
I see. So, after this, the lieutenant and the unidentified attacker, who you've stated was carrying an unconscious Lieutenant Commander Quinn, they made their way to the hangar, whereupon they both launched in separate crafts?
Yeah, that's right.
Why were they allowed to launch?
It wasn't my fault! I did everything I could to stop them from launching, but none of my controls were responding. They must have hacked the system to override my authority or something. It's the only explanation. I bet they did it ahead of time. There was no way I could have known.
Even if you had lost control of the systems, we were under the impression that the hostile craft had been secured. Was this or was this not the case?
Well, the thing is that,
Cadet Grange, can you answer the question? Why hadn't the craft been secured? That craft had been secured. Until it managed to break out, I'd have bet my life that nothing could get through Cadet Grange's compound. The stuff was almost impenetrable. I'd be surprised if the team working on the Gundog right now has got anywhere near removing the cargo crates that were stuck in it. If that stuff didn't stop it, then there was nothing else on the ship that could have. So, the enemy craft was able to escape the restraining compound and leave the ship after the hangar controls were overridden. Considering that Lieutenant Schutzhund was, at the time, supposed to be confined on suspicions of treason, how were they allowed to board a Juno?
Hey! We didn't know the lieutenant had gone anywhere until they came running down the hall in the middle of a firefight.
Oh no! Destroying their glasses! Come on now! Those were expensive glasses. Oh. Never mind. I imagine they pulled out a new pair, like Rude in FF7 Remake. They made a jump for it before we could stop them. Crewis tried to grab them, but the lieutenant was gone before he got anywhere near. Surprised the lieutenant didn't just get sucked out into space, pulling a crazy stunt like that. And what happened after the lieutenant made their way into space?
I mean, I was able to track them and that weird thing after they launched, but they were moving so fast and so close together, I couldn't get a good lock on either of them. Lord was ordering me to take them both out, but before I could line anything up, Crewis was out there in Gundog 1.
Do you know who gave Cruis permission to launch?
Hey, no one gave me permission to launch. But you think I'm just gonna hang around and watch an amateur like Lieutenant Schutzhund get torn to pieces because they can't pilot worth a damn? No way. Schutzhund showed some guts, and I wasn't gonna let them die after they finally grew a spine. I went out there to give the lieutenant a little bit of help.
So the two of you were able to defeat the enemy craft together?
Of course Cruis was able to tank it out. What do you think we dragged back into our hangar for, you guys? Oh really? They got the one craft. Nice. Might be in a few pieces, but those tech nerds love a challenge, right?
But the lieutenant didn't return with you. Why not?
Because they disappeared, that's why not. They sold out their friend and used them to cover their escape. The lieutenant and Quinn are probably off plotting against us right now.
We're not here for speculation, Miss Lord. We're here for facts. We're confident they disappeared?
They didn't disappear. Our records show that shortly after retrieving Lieutenant Commander Quinn, they were preparing to return to the Gundog when another enemy craft appeared. Gundog 1 was still busy with the original craft, and with a damaged Juno, the lieutenant was in no position to fight back.
Then what happened? Where did they go?
Well, I can't say for sure, but it was like they were dragged off somewhere.
Dragged off?
That's what it looked like, but I think it may have actually been a boson jump.
A what? A what?
A boson jump, Commodore, if you think about how our HFDD works, by warping the space around the ship to allow it to move significant distances. Then a boson jump does something similar but connects the two unique points in space, letting a craft move directly from one point to another. Wasn't it boson jumps that they do in Martian successor Nadeshko? Just to bring in another classic giant robot series here into the fold a little bit? I think so. I don't know. All theoretical, of course. The energy requirement alone would.
Alright. Thank you, Chief Engineer Cathays. But if you were able to detect indications of a space warp, even if it was non-standard, why did the Gundog not head out in pursuit?
Well, see, that's when the power went out again. It was like what happened on the 23rd with the Gundog and the O'Brien. If we'd been any closer, the electromagnetic pulse would have overloaded our key systems and we'd have all been fried.
So the ship was immobilized? What did you do then?
Guess I was lucky holding onto that trashed machine guess I was lucky. Holding onto that trashed machine must have shielded me or something. Once the lieutenant disappeared into that freaky light show, I dragged the wreckage back to the Gundog. We got the power back online, then slunk back here, tail between our legs. This is a really cool, by the way. I really like this ending, how this has been done, and like it's exposition-y, but sure, like it's really cool that this is how we're getting the whole story to fill the gaps here at the ending. I dig it. Who ordered the return to Europa 1? Miss Lord? No, that was my idea. How were you able to regain command from Miss Lord? Chief Engineer Cathays took the opportunity to free me from my quarters whilst the ensigns were distracted. I helped her reactivate the engines, and then after that I met with the crew and informed them that the original command structure was back in effect. After that, I had a polite discussion with Miss Lord, where I informed her that I was resuming control of the ship. And was she receptive to this? Well,
aside from her use of physical force, it was an abuse of power, plain and simple. I wasn't given the opportunity to state my case. There was no hearing. I was immediately confined to quarters. As soon as this inquiry is over, I want to open a grievance against Maris Bartholomews.
Thank you, Miss Lord, but at the moment we just want to know if you're aware of what happened after you were confined. I'm sure you must have all the information you need on that from the ship's logs, Commodore.
For the benefit of the inquiry, Miss Bartholomews,
Wait, hold on, was the name there? Yeah, Penguin, yeah. So. From that point on, the Gondog's journey back to Europa 1 was uneventful, and everything occurred as expected. We returned to the colony, immediately notified command of the craft in our hangar. I submitted my report on the events that had taken place since our departure. And here we are. Thank you, Miss Bartermuse. The inquiry will be adjourning whilst we go over our findings. You will be notified as soon as we have come to an agreement on our verdict. Guards, please escort Miss Bartermuse back to the holding cells. With the exception of some spurious accusations from Ms. Lord, it seems that the crew are all giving relatively consistent testimonies. What do you think, Admiral? Losing someone like Cassandra Quinn is a catastrophe. She was only a lieutenant commander, but she's worked on a multitude of different ships, bases, and installations. In terms of her institutional and process knowledge, if she was interrogated, there's no saying just how much the enemy would be able to learn from her. They might already have done that. We've been getting reports of attacks on various frontier outposts with similar patterns to what happened to the Gondog. Loss of power, sudden illness amongst the command structure, attackers appearing out of nowhere. The list of officers we've lost is already too long. Female officers, who all look mysteriously like the same. Has anyone checked that out? Captain? Just something I noticed, Admiral. All the officers missing are women. Whatever is going on, we can't let it continue. The inquiry into the events aboard the JFS Gundog will now reconvene. Guards, please bring in Ms. Bartermuse. Welcome back, Miss Bartermuse. It's, once again, a pleasure, Admiral. We'll be brief. After reviewing the testimonies of you and the crew that served under you, as well as the ship's logs and recordings, we have come to our conclusion regarding your futures within the JCF. Miss Bartermuse. We appreciate the unusual circumstances, but it must be acknowledged that you lost control of your vessel. Because of this, we will not be reinstating your rank as captain. I see. But, due to your experience with the issues that the Gundog and her crew faced, you will be acting as a special advisor on a newly formed task force on board its lead ship, the Sylvestris. This rapid response unit will be responsible for handling an increase in similar events to those that impacted the JFS Gundog and JFS O'Brien. A stipulation of this position is that you will be partaking in mandatory psychotherapy with the ship's medical staff for the duration of your role. Understood, Admiral. Thank you. With regards to Hansen Cruis, for participating in a mutiny, you should be dishonorably discharged and facing a minimum of 10 years in prison. However, due to your performance in combat and experience with these new enemy machines, you will be serving as a pilot in a new task force. This role is non-negotiable. In addition, you will be kept under supervision, and your time as part of the task force is in lieu of time served. This will also be the case for Haru Rumney. Hey, you won't see me complaining. As for Chief Engineer Mackenzie Cathays, you are to be transferred to the JFS Sylvestris, where you will act as its chief engineer. The Sylvestris will serve as the flagship of a new task force. Because of this, we are removing Cadet Dalton Grange from your instruction. But... Instead, Cadet Grange, you will be transferred to a JCF R&D department, where you will receive appropriate support to develop your new compound into a viable weapon. Thank you, ma'am. That's great. Moving on to Warrant Officer Dylan Dees. We have reviewed your request and have decided that it is in the JCF's best interest to give you an honorable discharge from the fleet. Good call, ma'am. Your stipend and freedom are, of course, dependent on you ensuring that you do not disclose any information about what happened. Consider the matter highly classified. Don't worry about that, ma'am. Not planning on thinking about this anytime soon. As for Ms. Lord, now this is gonna get juicy. Typically, a mutiny against your commanding officer would result in your execution.
But I didn't. All the evidence is.
Quiet, please, Ms. Lord. However, we do understand that, due to the rapid development and confusing nature of events, it did appear that the crew of the ship could have been involved in a conspiracy. Had that been confirmed as the case, you would have followed the appropriate protocol by removing Captain Buttermuse from command. Given this, the inquiry has decided to be lenient. You will instead be placed under house arrest pending further investigation. Spelling mistake, whoopsie daisy. Understood. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I almost forgot. Dr. Cypher Rosarian. Due to his death in the line of duty, he will be given a posthumous 2-rank promotion. As we have been unable to contact any next of kin, the Doctor will receive a public service before his ashes are spread in the Europa Military Memorial Gardens. This judgment hereby concludes the inquiry into the events that happened on board the JFS Gundog between April 24th and April 28th. All decisions are effective immediately. You are... One question before I leave, ma'am. Oh, Buttermuse. Go ahead. What is the plan regarding Lieutenant Schutzhund and Lieutenant Commander Quinn? I can assure you, Captain, finding those two is a top priority for us. I see. Thank you, Captain. As I was saying, you are dismissed. Oh, that's cool! Because it's like talking to you, the player of the game. Oh, that's fun. That's a really fun way to... Wow. Alright. Jonathan Durham, writer, creative director. Big props. This was so sick. Ben Keller, developer, producer. Oh, these cute little... Oh, I saw these on their webpage, though, so I guess I should have seen this coming. Background character and UI artist, animation, graphic design. Kevin Butler, well done. Such beautiful work. Oh, music, absolutely. Music composition, audio production, Daniel Goodman. Killed it. This soundtrack was wonderful. Additional composition and audio production by Alice Sisson, mechanical design, Robin Koska, and Siege. Additional character design by Alice Evans and Sir Pedis. Quality assurance lead, Ben Keller. Quality assurance testing, Jonathan Durham, Miranda Topham, Emily Topham. Editing and proofreading, Ben Keller. Special thanks to Thomas Runnalls, Jonathan Fairweather, Sam Morris, Ryan Gregory, Georgina Bark, Reese Lewis, Harry Moody, Matt Smith, Creative Wales. Extra special thanks to Miranda Topham and Emily Topham. The Astrolabe Games crew, special thanks to Studio Mode character artist Yanan Chen, Full Color Mode lead artist Mr. Lu Shan, CTO and Astrolabe Games Tech Squad head Alex Jin, console porting Astrolabe Games Tech Squad founder and CEO Jokery, Vice President Liu Yihao, SVP of North America Office Steve Lee, Marketing Team Steve Lee, Shokatsu Rin, Martin Chu, and Gao Xing, Full Color Mode Coordinator Jokery, Studio Mode Coordinator Gao Xing, Trailers Creation and Production Jokery, Marketing Asset Design and Creation Jokery, Martin Chu, Hades Zhang, Western Community Manager Eyes Radar, China Community Manager Hades Zhang, Japan Marketing Head Jokery, Japan PR and Community Manager Shokatsu Rin, Production Head Lu Yihao, Assistant Producer Song Yu Theng, FQA Test Team Leo Lu, Fred Song, Eyes Radar, Jokery, Li Yan, Shokatsu Rin, Chinese Localization Team Crossing Star, Japanese Localization Active Gaming Media, Global Partner Relationship Liaison Steve Lee, Global Localization Liaison Fred Song, Localization QA Test Team Leo Lu, Fred Song, Shokatsu Rin, Eyes Radar, Li Yan, and Jokery. And the Metaridium Games CEO Sergio Palacian, Business Development and Brand Manager Ruben Gutierrez, Marketing, PR, and Communication Manager Tony Asensio, Publishing and Art Design Manager Elena Fernandez, Chief Financial Officer Raquel Calderon, Sales and Publishing Alejandra Cano, Marketing, PR, and Communication Jessica Fernandez, Product and Marketing Marina Perez, Publishing and Art Design Ana Palmeiro, Key Account Manager Javier Herrero, Warehouse Assistant Pele Calderon, Marketing, PR, and Communication Raquel Suarez, PM Studio CEO Michael Yum, COO Louis Reyes, CFO David Hung, CTO Dongpil Lim, Board of Directors Roy Choi and Peter Jung, Executive Producer Stephen Yum, Lead Producer Thomas Whitehead, Marketing Director Chris Olivares, Marketing Manager Harrison Floyd, Art Director Shongluk John, Lead Artist Sarah Choi, Production Coordinator Chichi Zuo, Production Support Andrew Lamakia, Asia Operations Director Hogun Kang, Legal Assistant Jessica Song, then at Soshiden, Production Manager Silvia Pardini, Linguist Team Lead Ramon Mendez, Localization Manager Victor Pujadas, Linguistic Team Spanish Localization Reviewer Alba Calvo, Translators Ramon Mendez, Juan Ramon Acedo, and Tia Otero Gonzalez, French Localization Reviewer Marlene Dubois, Translators Julien Lassalle, Pierre-Alexandre Janetsko, German Localization Reviewer Marie-Christine von Glan, Translators Dominik Reichelt, Yuriko Nagata. I thought there was only going to be like 4 or 5 people, so I was like, I'll read them all. And then there was like 50 names because of all those extra teams, so there you go. And you, thank you for playing. See you in the Gundog soon. Oh, thank you. Big heart, thanks for that. The way it's supposed to be. Team up with the captain and see her epilogue. The way it's supposed to be. Does that mean I got the good ending somehow? Taking a drink here real quick just to hydrate myself again. Yeah! Wow, I'm gonna have to look up what the 2 endings of this game then are, since if I looked at that chart correctly. I mean, I'd love to know a lot of that, but like, it's crazy there's so many choices, because a lot of choices seem really inconsequential in this game. So like, what that huge chart could mean, I got no clue, but that was really, really exciting. And that was the game! Wow, we got done with it! We went a little bit longer than I planned, by about a half hour, and we're gonna go a little bit longer because, as I always do when I play a, when I record a regular, like, playthrough, like a non-stream playthrough, I give a review of the game at the end, so it behooves me to give one here. It's only fair, right? Especially because this is not going to be so much a review as me just gushing for a while. Like, I don't know what I could complain about, really. This was such a fantastic game. It's so freaking cool. Okay, I guess what you could levy at it is it doesn't have a lot of super original ideas for a space opera mech story like this, I guess. Like, I was calling out Nadeshiko, Gundam, Macross even a little bit, I guess, comes through there. It's certainly like taking swings at the classics here. So you could levy that at it. And I can understand if someone was like, I don't know, it's kind of seeing it. To me, the frickin' passion for the genre and just the love for those aforementioned series shines through. It just glows through this game. Like, my eyes are seared by just the love and care for what's going on in this story, Like, I don't know, like, it's so good. Where do I begin? Like, yeah, the story, like, I guess, the positives, of course. Incredible character writing. Like, there was such a smart thing to have, like, a ship out in deep space so that, like, it's, like, really, like, small, like, limited, controlled setting, and, like a really tight, like, centered cast. Like, you really, like, get used to everybody on the ship, and you're a patrol officer, so that gives you a lot of, like, leeway to patrol around the ship, an excuse to talk to everybody, an excuse to have sequences where you do catch up with everybody. Really smart stuff going on there. That, like, I really enjoyed that. And like a couple of things I'd like say, like, I maybe like the story could have been better if you did this instead. I also understand that this wanted to be a tight, really, like, good narrative, so my suggestions might also just kind of muddy it up a little bit. I fully admit that, but I'll say a couple things that maybe I could have enjoyed a little bit more. I think there could have been a little bit more slice of life. Like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't have killed... it would not have killed me, excuse me, to have, like, just a little bit more just dicking around and talking to people. Like, you know, we had that whole thing where we were just doing a patrol and we ended up helping out charging the batteries. You know, I was expecting, like, we'd have, like maybe one more sequence like that before shit hit the fan. Or, like, maybe, like, shit would hit the fan and then, like, we'd have a chance to do something else in between. But, yeah, then the other thing, a couple more things. The whole sequence with the blackout, I think, kind of, like, felt like it ate up a huge chunk of this game. I think you could have rebalanced, like, content, having that sequence with all the stuff around the blackout be a little bit shorter, and then, like, maybe put, like, again, like, ideas of, like, the, like, whole, like, more slice of life or something else, you know. And then, oh gosh, I think, now this one I had to, because we only got one path through this, so I only saw the one path, so, I don't know. Maybe a little bit more exposition of what was going on at the end there. Now, this was a huge sequel hook, obviously. And I'd have to I'd have to look up the alternate endings to find out, like, is there a version where Schutzhund, like, returns with the rest of the crew? Is there a version where, you know, everybody's saved? Like, you know, like, was this a bad ending that I got by having Schutzhund and Cassie with the, you know, with the crew? I'm actually not sure because, again, as mentioned, huge sequel hook here, and I've read that the developers want to make, basically, a whole bunch more of stories from Soul games, maybe exploring, like, different, like, space opera plots, you know, I think, you know, is what I've heard understood. So, I think some of the stuff had to be, like, a given to, like, set up the sequel bait, you know? Just, like, you know, like, have the... I say sequel bait, that sounds really rude, but you know what I mean. Sequel hook, you know? Just like, have, obviously, like, the bad guys are still out there and setting up the situation. The references to the special fleet. You know, I'm trying to imagine, like, you know, when they're going to be writing the, like, next game. Like, obviously they don't want to, like, have too many, like, forks in the plot that then they'd have to be like, well, actually, this is the canon fork. So I'm imagining, like, a bunch of stuff happens regardless. But I'm really struggling to tell, like, which ones are and which ones aren't. I'm thinking... If I had to make a guess, I'm guessing that Cassie always gets captured. That's going to be my wild swing. Cassie always gets captured, like, but the ending with Schutzhund being, like, you know, sucked up with them is, like, optional. Because I imagine, like, maybe you'll be able to play a different character regardless in Stories from Soul 2, but maybe there'll be, like, a little questionnaire at the start, like, in the previous game, which happened, and then, you know, Schutzhund might show up as an NPC, you know, instead of, like, you know, being playable. And either they'll be there with Cassie, or they'll, like, show up with the Special Task Force. You know, just speculating, spitballing here, but yeah. But overall, like, you know, those are just, like, again, like I said, it's an incredibly solid, well done, like I love these stories, and this was done so well, and yeah, like, I was, like, fist pumping here at home today, with, like, how the payoff with the giant robot, like, you know, finally that giant robot action scene. I don't even mind that there wasn't, like, much in the way of, like, actually, like, I thought, like, maybe we'd get, like, a little point-and-click shooter sequence or something, but I do not mind that, you know, it was all still just the, like, visual novel stuff. That was still fun. So, like, so well done. I love it. It's so cool, and that creepy ending was still, even though it's like, ah, man, I wish we did get a good ending, but the way that thing went so nuts was like, yeah, creepy. I really, really liked that. So, yeah, just, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be thinking about this game for a while, because it's just so enjoyable. Gameplay-wise, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a visual novel, so you can't expect a ton of gameplay in it. I think this was fine. I think, you know, again, soaking in the fun story, I was fine with the kind of minimal gameplay, but it was enough, you know, clicking around and stuff. There was an effort to have mini-games in this, by having the, like, remember the code to the airlock, and then the pipe dream mini-game. I appreciate that. That was kind of interesting to have, like, that going on there. I guess you could have also had more of that, just to, like, add up a little bit, but obviously, you know, another one where it's like, well, should the resources be put forward to that? It was fine like this, but yeah, you know, a little bit of mini games more to like spice it up, like vary it up, would have also been, you know, appreciated, you know, but yeah. But this was fine. This was great. This was the kind of like, you know, I said Ace Attorney at one point, and you know, it had that energy when we were trying to prove our innocence. And you know, Ace Attorneys don't have a ton of mini games. It really is that point and click and talk to people and like use items. So yeah. Not angry. Presentation is the winner. It's right on there with the story. I don't know. Like, I don't have anything to complain about regards presentation and story. Or presentation, like the music and the visuals and everything and the UI. Like, I don't know what I'd complain about. The character designs so good, and I love. Hold on. I love that this is here, even if like they're not particularly interesting, the Dojin mode, but like it's still so cute that that's an option here. So it's huge props for that, you know. Yeah. So that's maybe one thing. One thing I could say. A lot of the corridors and like sets on the ship were a little simple. That, again, like, I'm kind of excusing it immediately, because it is a military ship, so it's gonna look pretty simple, you know? So, there's only so much you can do with that. But, yeah, I guess, yeah, like, not a ton of variety, I guess, in that sense. But, yeah, but the character design's amazing, those cut-ins with all the robot fights there at the end, fantastic, you know, really fun. Maybe you could have a little bit more of those, like, interstitial images as well, actually. They were really kind of loaded here at the end a little bit, a little backloaded. We got a couple, you know, at very key moments in the earlier part of the game, but you could have had maybe a few more there. So that's like the one thing I can honestly say. I would say, yeah, you could have done better with presentation. But yeah, music, such a good soundtrack, amazing, love it, really, really. Really cool, like these kind of like it's video gamey, but it's got the motions perfect. I love the MSX Metal Gear music when sneaking. I love that the sequence when we went to save Cassie just had that hero music like 90% of the time. Just like this, the music came together so well. Also, like just really informed the feeling of the scene. Like I wasn't scared for a minute when we were attacking the ship, attacking the alien ship, even though, like, you know, honestly. Like, we know that, like, Saul should not be able to beat that thing, but, again, that Evangelion second movie, glowing red eyes, give her back, that energy just came through that part, so I was, like, completely caught up with it, and it's so perfectly done, amazing. Alright, favorite character, favorite protagonist. Cassie is fantastic. I'm really glad that they took a swing by having like an actual relationship, like a romantic relationship with the main character and somebody in this story. And Cassie's fantastic. Like she's such a goofball, so she's really funny. But then also like she can have her serious moments, and she can show her competence when like she is like an accomplished like officer, you know. So like it's really hard for me not to like love. Like Cassie as a fantastic foil for our hero here, like romantic foil and everything. Like it's great. It's such a good. I enjoyed her so much, but it's hard to pick favorite characters, you know, since it's so well written, such a strong cast, you know. I really liked Cruis by the end as a douchey, you know, rival character. I like the Chief a lot, interesting characterization, and, you know, the big muscles are also appreciated. But, like, you know, great, like, you know, variety there, you know, everybody's great. But Cassie has gotta get the win there. Favorite antagonist? There weren't a lot of antagonists here. It's basically down to the Cassie clone and the creepy guys working behind the Cassie clones. They're not going to get the award because they were just, again, sequel bait at the end there. And then it's going to be Lieutenant Lord, who is very hard to even call like a rival anti-hero like Hansen was. So it's going to be either Vanessa or the clone. The clone was shocking, so that completely took me off guard. So that kind of does earn its points, despite the clone being only very briefly in this, you know, narrative. because it was so like, this changes everything. But I think Lieutenant Lord has to get the reward. Like, she's so shitty, and I love that, like, I couldn't tell for a bit, like, is she gonna, like, warm up and become a better, like, like, become part of the crew? But, like, then it becomes, after a while, it becomes apparent, no, she's gonna become worse and worse and worse, and she's gonna be, like, the villain. And sure enough, she was so insufferable, and it's a love-to-hate energy, which is why it's easy to say that she's my favorite villain. So, well done on writing such an awful character. It was fun. Funniest... No favorite level. There were no boss fights, so no favorite boss. There's not really any levels, I don't know. I just freaking know. Like, favorite design? I guess the engine room. I don't know. No, the cafeteria. I like the cafe. It was fun. The mess hall. It was really good fun. Or maybe, no, favorite level, maybe the doctor's office, where we got to do all that Phoenix writing about. So maybe that's my favorite level. But it's hard to say favorite level in a game like this. Funniest moment. The race with the pencils that Cassie and the protagonist had. Doofy Gundam reference, but it was just so absurd that I really enjoyed it. And I believe that's also when she was like, try to say Forsyth Thoroughfare 3 times fast, and that's very silly, very silly. Both of those are really funny, so I think that gets it. I mean, there were a lot of funny moments, so probably I could think of something else, but off the top of my head, off the top of the dome, the pencil thing was great. Okay, that's it. That was great. Damn, I'm so glad I played this. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Please consider supporting the devs by getting this game. I know I just kind of showed the playthrough here, but you saw that chart. There's so many options. Please, 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 please consider. You could try and find a different ending, or you can just enjoy these scenes all over again. You can try what it looks like when you have a he/him or a she/her as the protagonist. I can't promise you. I checked the one time between streams. You have different art for the character, so really, really, really worth it for that. Please, 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 please. This is such a cool game. This is like I want the stories from Soul 2 to happen so bad. So yeah, but that's it for today. Let's see if I can get it to happen, but pretty soon we're gonna try and get some Super Robot Wars streaming. So the giant robot action certainly isn't like running out, but again, my streams are very irregular. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how I could arrange like a regular thing, but whatever. But I hope you enjoyed this all the same, whether you watched this live or you came and watched this stream on the VOD on YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will catch you all in the future, everybody. Alright, salutations and bye-bye!